Developing games always presents me with new challenges. Graphics, code, design, balancing, marketing and much more has to be learned. Music, 3D models and many other things you could list. Understanding your code, even after a few weeks or months, is not easy. Even if you stick to certain rules, you will get lost at some point. Maybe you've experienced this overload yourself and wonder if it's because of you. Why do other people create such supposedly good-looking indie games, man? And I don't. I had to learn to be happy for other developers. It's only recently that I realized the frustration, the effort often goes into it. On social media, we often get the feeling that it's down to talent. But it's so often, a lot of work. It can be frustrating, but it's a reality. You may be the exception. You may have learned to create good work in a short time, and that's good. That's something you can and should be happy about, right? And I would do either. But it's not always the case. It's not always like that, right? Developing games takes time. It's okay if things aren't going so well. Every time I started a new project, sooner or later, I came to the point that it wasn't worth it. Nobody will buy or play your game.
Okay.
Or the gameplay didn't fit. In the end, the idea was stupid, and often I still have these doubts today. These questions every day, man. Is my game damn really worth the effort and time I invest? And my answer simply is yes, definitely it is. It may not be economically viable in the end, but I enjoy my job. And I don't have high expectations, but I do my best that I personally can. And I enjoy what I do. Maybe you are in the same position, maybe you develop games, and I want to encourage you to stick to your current project or game, or whatever you do, what you do with passion. Don't get those things in your mind, those doubts, those troubled things. Don't listen to them. I've been self-employed for less than a year and now a new dad to a young daughter. I was aware that the whole thing is a lot of work, and I was right. But we often don't see this work in others, right? Being a father has made me realize once again that you can only empathize with situations if you have experienced them yourself. Of course, this is not always the case, but in the majority of cases it is. Well, many people have probably noticed that gamers do not appreciate the hard work of game developers in the last centuries. And sometimes rightly so. So as buying and playing video games is becoming increasingly important in the industry nowadays, we think of a game, see only the price tag and think how expensive it is. Most of the time it is expensive, especially for AAA games, right? But unfortunately, we often don't see the work behind it. And I'm not talking about loot boxes or what I call a casino for children. As you already heard, I'm developing my first commercial game in Godot. By the way, you can add it to your wishlist on Steam. I heard that this helps me the most. Well, I've tried a lot of game engines in my lifetime and have stuck with Godot in the end. Many people would think of Unreal, Unity or perhaps write an engine yourself. An engine that can perhaps do just as much as you need or even just write the necessary systems and components that I need. If it were that easy, why not? But there's a simple reason why I'm not doing that. Engines provide many useful tools that make my work easier. Work that I can use for my game. Yes, that doesn't necessarily apply to everyone, I would say, but as a rule, you usually already know whether you should do without a general purpose engine. I don't think beginners should do that to themselves. You can rethink your game idea and limit yourself to more classic and easy game types if the engine is really the problem, right? Of course, you can also write a complex RTS in an engine of your choice, but I personally cannot recommend it. And if you're currently doing this, then stick with it. If there's one thing I've learned with Godot, it's to be grateful. Grateful for what I can do without paying Juan a cent for it, regardless of whether I earn any money. Of course, you can donate, but that's not the topic today, and I'm really happy about what Juan is doing, so I'm also grateful for your support, so please like the video, subscribe and activate the bell. So why be grateful even though Godot may not always do everything the way I want it to? I was particularly struck by the Unity scandal and how many similar expectations were placed on the open source engine. Yes, I talk about Godot. And how many developers were disappointed at some points with Godot. Be it the choice of a programming language, GDScript, which I really don't understand because GDScript is very iterative and efficient in some ways, I would say. Don't judge me, people, please.
Yesterday.
Or some processes that differ, etc. Of course, I understand the frustration. The whole thing was a breach of trust, I would say, and many people wanted to find alternatives quickly and came across Godot. If you're watching this video and you weren't aware of this before, what you should, because nobody's living behind the moon, right? This is another confirmation for you. Unity is not Godot, and I'm really grateful for that too. So anyway, what do I like about Godot? Well, I love how quickly things can be tried out and changed. I write up 3 lines, what I want works straight away.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
And that's what I meant with iterative, as far as I understand it right. You can correct me, Johan, if you're watching this video ever, you can correct me, right? There are also signals and of course some tricks that I would simply miss in other programming languages. For me, that counts much more, really much more than writing the most powerful application. Of course, optimization can be important. And if you have a look on this building city game, City Skyline 2, they also got issues with that. But this is just an edge case, I would say, because very complex game, right? And I don't want to question that, but usually only when performance becomes critical and not before. Of course, it should be before release though. Oh, Skyline. So I'm grateful that I can use the engine without worrying about what decisions will be made in the future. Godot 4 remains free for me, no matter what I earn later. So it's a good choice for me in perspective. I have made progress in the last few weeks, starting with the fact that I have programmed 20 different perks. These give the player permanent advantages in the game, which can be earned by playing, of course. Then I integrate the remaining planned towers and their upgrade version. So in total there are 4 turrets with 3 upgrades each, so 12 variants in total. These turrets differ in their focus on tank or air defense, as well as a subdivision into machine gun or cannon. So like you have a machine gun and a cannon type for tanks, and against air the same way, so you get 4 turrets in total. Yeah, the camera has been annoying me the whole time. It absolutely had to be improved. I decided to go for an orthographic camera view after all, and I think it's more pleasant to play for most games of this type. By the way, I stole I use the camera from Kenny Starkid's City Builder, and thank you Kenny for that, thank you for much more. Take a look at his website, I really can recommend it, he's a nice dude. Lastly, I created a day-night cycle for the preparation and battle phase, and I really love it. It looks so nice, in my opinion. By the way, this is a simple transition of 2 environments, so where I use tweens to interpolate all attributes in the Perl. So it's nothing special, but it makes so much to this game, to the appeal of the game, I think. And yeah, just try something like that for you. Maybe you can make it more reliable, or you could do some kind of, yeah, you know what I mean. And that brings me another big step closer to my goal. I think the last 2 steps have really enhanced the game, as I told before, and let me know what you think about it. Let me know what you think about my game. However, programming games on your own is a big challenge. Be aware that there's always a lot of work behind it. You're probably developing a game yourself. And feel free to write me in the comments about your experiences, about your game, if you want to. In the end, it's important that you find the right way, the right tools, and the right path for you. And stay tuned, or find friends to stay tuned with. See ya!